So, what is a marriage map? What does it actually look like? Well, if you were sitting in the office with me, as happened so many times over the last couple of decades, actually, I would draw that map for you on a piece of paper and you would see what that looks like. So, since you're not here, I'm going to draw it for you on my trusty iPad. So, when you first start out, you're creating a relationship and you've got nothing but green lights. It's just like it is so cool. It is so much fun. That's what makes you want to be together. So this is not relatively smooth circle as you're going around in just your normal interactions with one another, and it feels wonderful. And so you repeat that, several times, and it feels really, really good. That's why you decided to stay in the relationship. But it doesn't take very long before something happens, and it's usually at the very beginning of a relationship. It doesn't happen 20 years later. It actually happens within a very short period of time of when you start interacting with one another. You've got this attraction going on, you don't want to mess it up, but then all of a sudden there's this, what I call a roadblock. And when you hit that roadblock, you don't want to acknowledge it. It's like a red flag. It's like, let's avoid this at all costs. So you change your path. And when you change your path, you actually you approach that roadblock and you go, oh, I don't want to do that. And you go around it. Okay? So here you are. Now you've got this lump and now your map has changed. And maybe you hit another roadblock somewhere along the way. And now you've got to change again. So now your relationship, instead of going in the round in the green circle, now you've got these issues that you don't want to talk about because they make you feel vulnerable. They make you feel hurt. They make you feel rejected, disrespected, devalued. Something is just not right. And so you continue to try to avoid those things. And you do that over and over again. And now it begins to define your entire relationship. And you can see after you've repeated this, even just a short amount of time, it's almost like you forgot what it looked like before. Because now you've created this new map of your relationship. Plus that, there's a lot of emotion involved in that. And when you get that much emotion going on, then this starts to glow red hot with all kinds of fiery emotions, maybe even anger, but definitely pain. And to change that cycle, to get you back to that nice, smooth, green flow of things that you enjoyed in the beginning, the first thing that you actually have to do is you have to get that emotion calmed down, okay? So you need to remove some of the fire. And you do that by slowing down the process so that you can actually see and hear what the other person is telling you. Because trust me, you are reacting in a very negative way to the other person's pain. And you don't realize it's pain because that defensiveness comes across as an attack. And that attack doesn't feel good to you. So you attack back, you counterattack, or you counter avoid. And neither one of those are going to be helpful. So we get the fire out of the relationship. And then we start to go again. And we're going to come upon this and we're going to go, oh, what happened? We're going to pause and we're going to evaluate, what is this? What just happened? How can I understand better where you're coming from? How can I respond more lovingly towards what just happened? But if you don't tell your partner what just happened or have somebody help your partner understand what just happened, you're not going to do anything any differently. And part of the way that you can figure out what just happened is by understanding the opposite sex and how to relate to them in the process. So you've got some sort of a template for understanding what it might be. And in that way, you can help facilitate the process. So for instance, one of the things that happens with women most often is that we get our feelings hurt. So I'm just going to put hurt feelings. Okay. And if you notice something happens, if you're the guy and you notice something just happened, you stop and you just go, wait a minute. Did I just hurt your feelings? I get a sense that I did. And then a woman can say to him, yes, you did. And then he just says, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. And then you can move on. So now you've come across this, you've dealt with it, and now you can move on to the next issue. Okay, because there's going to be another one, because both of you have problems in relating to one another, but still now you're starting to change that pattern because you know how to work your way through it. Okay, so that's the goal, is to work your way through it and to overcome the negative stuff that's happened in the past. Now we get up here to this one. Here's another roadblock. And let's say that this time it's the man who got triggered. If you're aware of how sensitive men are and you're the woman, you can say, did that feel disrespectful to you? I can't talk and write at the same time. Disrespect. This is funny. Disrespectful. There we go. And if he is bold, he will say, yes, that did feel disrespectful. And she can learn along the way, again, what is it about men in particular that makes them incredibly sensitive to being disrespected as a man? So a lot of times it's about a man's identity and that he feels disrespected as a man. Not just disrespected as a human, but disrespected in who he's intended to be. And when you learn what those are, then you're able to respond in a different way. Okay, so you can go around that in a different way. I teach you how to do that in the courses. So once you do that, then now you can move on and you get back to where you know how to work through an issue that's going to be for your partner. So you can see it takes a little bit of time to rebuild that. Unless you understand what this is right here, you have to understand what those roadblocks are and how to work your way through them. You're going to stay in that negative pattern.